Happy Wednesday, everybody. This is Mayor Mike, and I am broadcasting from 50 Chapman Place. This is our new town hall. We received word that our town hall renovation is genuinely and basically on schedule, so that we should expect to move back into 740 Main Street by the end of January or early February 2024, so that's great news. I have 5 questions today. These came in over the last week. The first one I may have covered in the last Ask the Mayor, but it's worthy of another review. So here we go. Question number 220 comes from Michelle, and she says, what is going to be done about the waste removal company leaving the trash bins in the middle of the street? This is a hazard. And I followed up with Michelle and got a little bit more information from her. She was kind enough to leave us her email, and we corresponded back and forth. It is in the Janet Drive area. And if you're aware, we have about 17,000 households, so we pick up 17,000 bins a week, and then on a bi-weekly basis, we pick up about 17,000 recycle bins. So there's a considerable number, as many as 34,000, that is picked up over any given time period, whether that's weekly or bi-weekly. And in this particular case, Michelle had noticed that the company was leaving them pretty much in the right of way. So Salmonella, who is our waste services supervisor from Public Works, he oversees the outside contract with All American Waste. We sent the email from Michelle to Sal, and Sal did a nice job following up. And he will actually chase the vehicles in Janet Drive area. You often see our Public Works supervisors in their own truck, and this would be an example of a reason why they would use it. They would follow the vehicles behind and observe them, and if they see anything with respect to leaving the bins in the middle of the road where it's a hazard, they'll be able to radio it in and contact the driver immediately and say, no. If you pick them up at the side of the road, you leave them at the side of the road. So thanks to Michelle for bringing it to our attention. We were able to put it through the system, and Sal is following up on that with All American Waste. So thank you again, Michelle. Question number 221 comes from Nick, and I had an opportunity also, because Nick was kind enough to leave an email, to exchange emails back and forth. He said we had an officer taking radar on Robert Street next to an extremely defaced speed limit sign, and the sign has been defaced for over a year. I did not know about it, and we put in I put in a request to Justin Cummings, who is in our sign department in Public Works, and Justin has already been out there, and that defaced sign, if we had the right one, has already come down and been replaced. So again, happy to do things for the residents of East Hartford. Public Works is a very supportive agency. In this particular case, I think we identified the sign fairly quickly once it was brought to our attention, but by all means, the more information you could provide, for instance, if the sign was next to Margaritas on the north side of the street, that would be helpful. But in this particular case, shout out goes out to Nick. Thanks for bringing it to our attention. We were able to remedy the situation and put up a new sign. We also had a discussion about why we do speed enforcement, and quite candidly, the quality of life unit, which also includes the police department, one of the most frequent things that we hear is we need to slow down the traffic on town streets. Been working with Police Chief Sansom, Deputy Chief Mac Hawkins. There will be another April initiative, much like there was last year. To give you some perspective, we issue about 7,000 moving violations last year, compared to about 4,000 a couple of years before. So the East Hartford Police, Officer Whitehead, does a tremendous job, and some of the other officers, slowing down our speeders, but we need everybody to help. If you're in a big hurry, slow it down, because the mistake you may make at a higher speed could cost somebody their lives. So again, plea from me to you, slow it down, make your community a lot safer. Don't give the police a reason to stop you. Submission number 222 is from Ricardo, and it said, Dear Mayor Mike, only 4 tennis courts at the high school have nets. Tennis season for boys and girls teams started in early April, and the kids really need all courts to be operational. There's a total of 8 there, which I'm familiar with. He continues on that parents have been in contact with the East Hartford High School, and we have been told that the town has concerns over the state of some of the courts. And that's true, and I'll explain that in a reason. We hope that these concerns can be addressed soon, as we have other schools coming for games this month, and we need to share the East Hartford pride. Couldn't agree more with Ricardo. He finally said the East Hartford tennis courts are the only ones available for kids in the town, and many other programs are used there for our youth. So thank you in advance for your help. So Ricardo, you and I corresponded directly. Again, thanks to Ricardo for giving us an email address we can respond to. There are indeed 8 courts at the high school. In 2017, all 8 were remediated. The problem with 4 of the courts is they're on unstable soils. So the soils underneath, as it gets more rainy and less rainy, basically contract and expand. Those cause cracks to develop. So while 4 of the courts are pretty pristine and have been, in 2017 renovated, the other 4 were pristine, but they're coming apart at the seams because of the unstable and sandy soils. That being said, of the 4 courts that are out of service, 2 look like they will be permanently out of service until a proper solution, and that may mean relocating them to another place is found. The other 2, we're simply waiting for the overnight temperatures to exceed 50 degrees, and we need about a week of that so that the proper, we'll call it compound, can be placed in the joints and that it'll set up correctly, and then the nets will be reestablished. So we have a regular Parks and Recreation safety inspection, and it found that those courts were unsafe because of the size of the cracks. Once we patch the cracks on 2 of the 4 courts, we'll replace the nets. That should be by the end of April. So the good news, Ricardo, is 6 of the 8 courts will be playable by the end of the month. The other 2, we need a longer term solution. And I'm in a constant discussion with engineering, finance, and the Board of Education to find out if we can do something with those remaining 2. But for the moment, my answer is 6 of the 8 are usable. Question number 223, which is number 4 for this program, comes from John. Now, John did not give me an email address, so I'm unable to send him a reply. He asks, is it possible to pave Hill Street at Oak Street going into Manchester? The road is in bad shape and Manchester is repaving their side now. East Hartford side is not that long and it's a problem every year with potholes. Now, on the surface, it should be really easy for me to say sure, but it's not. Excuse me, I don't want to say no, but here's the reality that I face, and this is out to John. It's a larger discussion. Currently, we have a road rating system that places basically an alphabetical grade or a numerical grade on each road, and that is called the road service rating. And we are currently only paving roads with service ratings at 40 or below. And we use between $5 and $10 million a year to get somewhere between 5 and 10 miles of road done. Last year we did 12 miles. We did more than we've ever done in quite a few years. This year we're doing over 5. Plus we're doing Brewer Street, plus we're doing a lot of others that you'll hear. But the concern with me going in and doing a road that has a road service rating over 40 is I'm actually taking somebody off the list who may have a more deserving road. So that's problem number 1. If we don't stick to the road rating system, we'll be doing roads out of sequence. And that will, eventually the money is not unlimited. So I have to pull somebody's road off in order to get that small strip near Hills done. I don't think that would be fair, even though the person would probably, or the people that live on that street would probably never know. But also, we know that Hill Street is coming up for repair in the next year or 2, based on the engineering estimates that I'm hearing. So if I throw a patch on there now, it's quite possible that other utilities may come in and cut it on the East Hartford side. If there are sewer connects by the MDC that need to be done, that happened a little bit on Lower Hill Street. So besides lack of coordination, which I do not have from other utilities on that part of Hill Street, I'm taking somebody out of the queue. I'm also blowing by the budget if I grant, additional paving that's not planned. So the unfortunate answer is, due to a lot of reasons, it may not make sense to take that one out of sequence. So while it's easy for me to say yes, it ultimately hurts somebody. So unfortunately, I have to say no. That being said, we will keep on prioritizing our roads based on the road service rating as well as the geographic location. There are a host of streets that we will put up on the website so everyone can see which streets are being paved. We gave the okay about a week ago. We started on Sunny Reach and that particular area. I actually got a complaint from a lady out on Sunny Reach She was not happy that on the day the curbs in the driveway apron were being removed, that she got the notice from Public Works. She would have liked more advance notice. So we do the best we can based on the urgency of decisions. I thought it was after 40 or 50 years, simply getting out pavement to that area was a good thing. But in that particular case, I was incorrect. That being said, let's go on to the last question, number 5. Number 224 comes from Cheryl. What can be done about blight? And she names a particular house on Burke Street. Their backyard is trashed, and this includes down trees, bedding, household goods, and so forth. Again, she was cordial enough to provide an email address. I corresponded with her. She gave me some additional information, and I want to link this reach out to my office, the Ask the Mayor, to the new Quality of Life phone number. The number is 860-291-7QOL or 861-291-7765. So the QOL is the 765 at the end of that number. While we have opportunities to report blight, whether that's parking on the lawn, whether that's parking in the street from 2 to 5 a.m., whether that's somebody's house is unkempt, parked cars on the backyard, or a swimming pool that's not fenced in, you could put it on my app, which is a cell phone application. You can come to the website, or this way it's a little bit easier. You can dial that 291-7QOL number, and Jacinia from my office mans it. Jacinia is bilingual, so if you are Spanish speaking and you leave the message in Spanish, it will be transcribed, or if you leave it in English, it will be transcribed, and it will be entered into the Q Alert system. Q Alert is our official notification system, and it allows us to track the complaints as they come in and go to the proper department. So immediately, if you have a pothole complaint, it'll go to our Public Works department and they'll work on it immediately. This is the best way for us to handle complaints, and this gives you another tool to get your complaints in. I notice a lot of complaining on social media, but if the town doesn't know it, because we don't quite frankly respond to social media, we may monitor it, but we need the residents to be specific. Where's the pothole? What's the address? What's the cross street? What number house is it in front of? Help us help you, and we'll be able to live in East Hartford a little more cohesively moving forward. So this is Mayor Mike. This is Wednesday. This is Ask the Mayor. Keep having the questions coming in, and the weather is breaking. It's been wonderful. Hopefully you got an opportunity to go out and enjoy the weather. Take care.